I want to talk about doing the majority of your gaming on SteamOS a little bit. Horizon Zero Dawn is a verified title on the Steam Deck. And man, I was blown away. I think I'm running at medium 800p, like 1280 by 800.
Yeah.
Getting like solid 30 FPS, playable. I ran into a weird issue where like aim assist is enabled, but I swear it's not working. As far as I can tell. And that game, I think I talked last week about how tedious a lot of the encounters were. Okay, if you don't hit the exact weak points on these fast-moving enemies, it can be like a controller snapper in terms of difficulty.
You really don't want to snap that controller.
Yeah, right. And I think a big part of the problem is that my auto-aim was not doing anything. Which raises some questions.
That might make sense because I know you brought that up, and I remember thinking, like, I don't think I really had a lot of trouble with that. But
yeah,
it's probably because of the aim assist.
It's probably because something about the Steam Deck or the Steam controller is showing up differently to a normal like X input device or something like that. So that's interesting. Defiance says Horizon Zero Dawn is not a hard game, Linus. Tell you what, you go play it. You go fight a thunder jaw with a controller with no aim assist. I'll wait. I got significantly better. I was playing Doom Eternal as part of another video today.
You're so much better because of Horizon.
And I'm like way better with the controller now after spending like 25 hours in Horizon Zero Dawn.
That makes sense. Keyboard and mouse people talk all the time about how aim assist is like cheating. And it's like, okay, there's maybe some arguments there, but using a controller without aim assist is just horrible.
Yes.
So like, you got to have it on.
Yeah, Thunderjaws aren't that hard, actually. I know. It's no problem if you can start knocking off components. And if I was on a mouse and keyboard, it would be a non-issue. The problem is that I'm on a controller. And any controller is going to have subtle dead zones. So when you're like leaping for bullet time and trying to like make that really small adjustment for that you like jumped, it can be very frustrating. Anyway, where was I going with this? Right. The first 5 hours of the game though, solid 30 FPS, great experience. The noise bothers me more than it did in the review. The whine of the fan, like Yvonne was even asking about it. I'm sitting there in bed playing Horizon Zero Dawn and she's like, "What's that noise?" Yeah, it's the Steam Deck fan. I spent most of my time pre-software review with earphones in, but I've actually been using speakers with it now more, just because circumstances have dictated that's been sensible. And I'm finding the fan kind of annoying. Basically, under half volume, it's pretty overpowering. After about 5 hours in, I started getting all manner of weird issues. And I didn't think to whip out a camera and record any of it, unfortunately. So Anthony's asked me to replicate it. And the good and bad news is that it's going to be real easy. Because at first, I started running into these issues like after 2 continuous hours of gameplay, where I would get stuttering down to like 1 FPS.
Yikes.
For 10, 30 seconds at a time. And then it would like catch up.
Oh, it does the like fast forward thing.
A little bit, not quite.
Okay.
Yeah, especially if it was a cutscene. It would be like, but like not all the time was accounted for. It was very strange.
Right. Yeah.
Like I wouldn't miss anything, even if it was only a short. I don't know. Yeah, super weird.
Okay.
I saw game crashes, just hard crash back to Steam interface. I even saw black screen, device unresponsive, Steam button does nothing, quick access menu does nothing, long press power button, full reboot is the only way to solve it. And the problem for me is that those, as I got into the late game, started to come up every 20 minutes or so, which is pretty bad. Everything from worse stutters to completely game-breaking, like progress-losing issues.
Those are the worst.
Was happening so frequently that, I mean, I told Anthony because he hadn't had that experience. He only has benchmarked Steam Deck so far. So I was contributing that to our video today, and I told Anthony, like, I have gotten more game crashes in my playthrough of Horizon Zero Dawn than I've probably had with every game all combined in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, I get so many crashes.
And again, and I know you're reviewing the Steam Deck and this is a verified title and all that kind of stuff, but this is why I stopped playing it on PC.
Really? Oh, so you had a lot of crashes in that game on...
Yes.
Didn't they mostly fix that, though?
Maybe.
Got it.
I've heard that they have from the community. I have not gone back and tried it since. I will at some point because I really want to eventually like beat that game. But yeah, it was crashing so hard on me on Windows that I just like refused to keep playing because I kept on losing progress, and that just roasts me.
I hate that.
Yeah, I think everybody does. It's just
Absolutely
the worst.
hate that. Someone said 25 hours is not late game LMAO. For the first 5 to 8, I was doing a lot of the side quests, but honestly, I figured out what was bothering me about the game so much. They've built this incredible world. They've done all this world building, and it's populated with all of these Muppets.
Yeah.
Like almost everyone you talk to. Like if you turn off the quest indicator that just takes you straight to the person you're supposed to talk to, you've got all these unique looking people that just repeat the same dozen pre-baked, I'm sorry, I have nothing to talk to you about right now. So not having that indicator on is just an utter waste of time. So it's this enormous world full of all these settlements and cities that has absolutely no life
It
whatsoever.
has a little bit of first game in a series syndrome. Like I used to talk about this with Assassin's Creed a fair amount, where the first Assassin's Creed game is like a really cool proof of concept.
Right.
There's a lot of things that are like, yep, that should be a lot better or a lot more fleshed out or whatever. And then you get Assassin's Creed 2 and it's like, oh, okay, sweet. Here we go. This is what we actually wanted. And I have a feeling that Forbidden West, like I've heard from a lot of people that these types of problems that you're mentioning are fixed or better in Forbidden West. So I think it's a lot of like they built this massive new world. It's a similar game to some other games, but they do a fair amount of things uniquely, and it's a new IP and all this kind of stuff. So certain things are not really all that fleshed out.
So after that first like 5 to 8 hours, I just got really bored of samey side quests and realized that you don't need to grind at all.
Yeah.
Because there's almost zero leveling up progression anyway. So I just started chasing the main quest. And
that's a weird problem with modern games. Is some modern games, if you don't do the side quests, you're just like screwed.
Yeah.
And then you have to go back and do side quests, which feels horrible. And then there's other games where you don't have to do side quests at all, and they like kind of aren't very good because they weren't designed for you to do all of them. So then you're like, ugh, this sucks, when you should have just been doing the main quest. It's kind of weird. Ran into that a few times recently.
So I have experienced a ton of instability, and it really raises questions for me about the QC that's going into verified games.
Right.
Because I have no doubt that if I was Sony, right, I would be not that happy to have, my name flash up as a splash screen on this verified title on some verified console. Like, you think about how defensive companies are of their image.
Yeah, I mean, they
verified
also released
badge.
Horizon Zero Dawn on Windows when it was just like a broken piece of trash.
That's fair, but they fixed it, apparently.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, people in the chat are saying, yeah, it was a joke at launch, but it's been good. I played it recently and it was fine.
Okay.
So there's definitely sensitivity around your
For
product
sure. Yeah.
being badged as works perfectly by someone else, and then it doesn't. And then you're kind of going, okay, because it's absolutely, they will get messages about it.
Oh, for
hey, why is
sure.
your game such a crashy,
100%.
buggy mess on Steam Deck? It's verified. What did you guys do?
Yeah.
Someone will.
Yeah.
And I feel like with how many titles Valve is verifying, they might be going a little YOLO and a little rubber stampy, because my experience with Horizon Zero Dawn was that I went 5 hours in with not a single hiccup. And then after that, it basically got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse.
So they probably didn't, test it all that much.
So they probably didn't
Thoroughly.
never mind play testing it. They probably didn't play the whole game.
Yeah.
And you can't expect
It's a fair amount to ask.
Yeah, you can't expect, 20 hours in every game or even 10 hours in every game for Valve to just, be a charity
Like, now
and
you
contribute that
Yeah,
time to
I was-
third-party developers' titles.
I was just going to say, now you have like whole game studio level QA departments just sitting there and playing games.
Right?
That's a weird thing for Valve to hire at this point.
Except maybe they should. Are they a console manufacturer now?
But I don't think console manufacturers do that. That's on the game developers.
I'm sure they contribute some QA on their own. I mean, Nintendo made the
like NVIDIA style, where they like
certified-
inject employees into companies and stuff.
I'm 100% sure that they contribute to QA.
Sure. Yeah. Very interesting.
So
I'm antsy for mine, dude. I still don't have an email.
you can put Windows on the Steam Deck, but right now,
probably shouldn't right
for a
now.
variety of reasons, it looks like an utterly terrible idea, which I think you nailed it earlier when you said, well, the silver lining, I guess, is this creates a small opening for those smaller companies that are trying to compete in the handheld
Which-
PC space.
Hopefully, actually, that small opening is bigger than what already existed before the Steam Deck came into play, because Steam Deck is bringing so many eyes onto this medium.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think a ton of people didn't know, or if you saw one, you'd think it was just a gimmick.
Yeah.
But now there's like this mainline thing adding a bunch of legitimacy to the space. And if you're like, oh, okay, yeah, but the game that I want to play is Halo Infinite or something that isn't
Yeah.
on Linux. And then you see, oh, there's a Windows option that actually looks fairly highly reviewed, yada, yada. Maybe they'll get it.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, actually, I haven't checked. Aya Neo Next. I haven't checked in on their Indiegogo, and I haven't heard from the CEO lately. They've got 382 backers, and they've raised 700,000 Canadian. So that's about $550 US, just over $500,000 US. So yeah, not bad. Not bad. I mean, I guarantee you it's not Steam Deck numbers, but it's not bad.
No. Yeah.
Chino Chibi says Nintendo seal of quality is worthless. I think it is now, but when
It used to be primo.
when they first introduced it, it was a big deal. It was one of the things that Nintendo did to set themselves apart from just the gaming crash that took place before the NES took hold, which was to keep low quality, repetitive, crappy games off of their platform. They even enforced a limit to how many games a publisher was allowed to submit per year, just to ensure that they wouldn't just shard out
Get
more
flooded.
games.
Yeah.
Try to make it up in volume, And they would it wasn't even just technical validation. They would even offer gameplay suggestions, say like, hey, you should do this and you should do that if you want the game to be better.
It used to be really intense. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
People
know.
used to talk about it like pretty often.
Yeah,
And
I don't-
I haven't heard it brought up in forever.
I don't know anything about it now.
Yeah, me neither.